Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. By the time this video comes out, I know it's going to be a little too close to Christmas for you to do this, but I'm going to try to crank out some cutting boards for Christmas. I'm going to do a lot of batching out. I have this piece of 8/4 maple. It's about 9.5 wide. Obviously I'm not going to get all that, and I'll add some strips on it. We are going to do this in end grain. And I'm going to start by cutting these to about 18 inches long. Ultimately, my goal is about 12 by 16. If I get somewhere in that neighborhood, man, I'm happy, but no two will be exactly the same size, and that's okay. Like I said, we are gonna do end grain. So I'm gonna start by rough milling this into usable chunks. Okay, I was pretty fortunate that piece of 8/4 was fairly flat. It's flat enough to get us going. So I'm going to go ahead and join one edge on this, and then I'm going to rip these into lengths, setting the fence at whatever this thickness is. Once that's glued up, then I'll get it flat for the first time before switching over to end grain. Okay, so I have the table saw fence set to the thickness of this 8/4 material, which is actually, right now it's just a smidgen under 8/4, and that's okay. Final thickness of these cutting boards, as long as it's healthy, I'm okay with that. The only thing I'm going to do is put a triangle mark on here, and I'll number each one, so that I can keep the pieces in order when they come off of the saw. Okay, I've got all those cut. All I'm going to do now is just glue them back together, and then once it comes out of clamps, then we'll go start making the end grain stuff. So I'm going to start by gluing these up. One down, 4 to go. Well, there's all 5 boards set up and ready to go. Surely a good reason to keep a fair share of clamps in your shop. I'm hoping to get those cut into cross grain tonight. We'll just see how flat they come out. I may have to do some flattening first, but we'll see. For now, we'll just give them a couple hours and we'll come back and assess what's next. Okay, as I start pulling these out of clamps, I just use a regular paint scraper and get the rough dry glue off. And it's important at this stage that these surfaces be flat. I've got a couple little ridges and whatnot here that I've got to take care of, because when we start cutting these this way and we flip them up, those become our glue surfaces. So it's imperative that we get these flat. So my boards are already pretty flat. There's no wobble on them at the saw, but I just want to clean them up just a little bit here at the drum sander to get those seams perfect. Okay, now that these are nice and flat, I'm going to mark a triangle the other direction. It doesn't have to be perfect. And again, I'm going to number it just so I get them back in the proper alignment. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a squaring cut on here, just so we stay flat all the way as best we can. It's still going to take a lot of flattening. And then I've set my stop block for the current thickness, and we're just gonna hike off the strips. Whatever is the little bit that's left over, it goes away. Remember, I cut these about 2 inches long, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Anything over 2 inches, and I get another strip out of it anyway, so we're really not gonna lose much length that way. So all told that we lost about 1.25 inches, which was fine because we were 2 inches long anyway. Okay, it's time to glue all this back up. But again, we're going to end grain. So that means that every piece gets flipped up so the end grain is exposed. Something I like to do is to flip-flop every other piece, because it breaks up those grain patterns just a little bit, and I think it just looks a little bit nicer. So I flip-flop every other one, end for end. I get them all set up, and then the glue up is exactly the same as gluing up the long grains. And because we took the time to flatten all those out, those seams should all be really nice, and it should make for an easy glue up here. And I try to keep them as lined up as I can. One down, 4 to go. Well, there they are, all 5 end grains glued up. They still have to be squared up on the edges and get decorative strips on the outsides to give them a little more width. I also think we're going to put a wavy curve in each one of these. Just have some fun with them. But for now, I'm going to let these cure up overnight. We'll pull them out of clamps in the morning. We'll scrape the glue, run them through the drum sander, do all those things that we did with them in the first glue up, and then we'll go to moving on.